Hey guys, Josh here, and today we're going to take a look at NECA's ED-209 from the Robocop series. Now, I believe the very first time we saw this guy was either New York Toy Fair or San Diego Comic-Con in 2013, but whichever one it was, man, I could not wait to get my hands on this guy. He looks absolutely beautiful. He has electronics, he has some articulation, the level of detail that went into him, and I'll get a lot closer here with the camera on a few other shots when we get into his legs and the upper torso. Just amazing. And then the paint job that they put on him, where you have gunmetal black, you got some red and gold as well. You can kind of see it down here in the feet, and the level of detail here on the, what appear to be stickers, but they're actually tampographed on. And also this blue all throughout here kind of has a metallic finish to it as well. So very nice indeed. Just wanted to kind of give you guys a little 360 rotation so you can see this. Very, very nice figure, especially for the price. As you guys well know, that NECA's always done a really good job of putting some, nice level of detail in the figures, things that you could be very proud of. But they never went like, they're not going to break the bank whenever you try to afford these figures. I believe on something like this, I think it was on sale for 60 bucks, which it normally was going to go for 70. So for about that $60, $70 price point, you're going to be able to get this if you buy it at retail. So let's go ahead and do a few size comparisons for you. And the best one to do it with is Robocop here. So this is the holster action Robocop here, which is the same size as all the rest of them, and it looks really nice. Now you can actually extend his legs to make them taller or shorter, but I kind of put it right there in the middle, as you can see, and I think that's a really nice look for him, and it really scales up very nice. Another NECA figure that I thought I'd bring in, just because the Predator is a little bit taller than most of your other NECA action figures there, you can still see the ED-209 just towers above him. Another guy that's very popular right now, there is the Star Wars 6-inch Blackline series, and this is Boba Fett. Another one that's pretty popular right now is the Nick Turtles. This is the Battle Shell version, so it's going to be one of the shorter ones compared to the ones that were one of the first releases. And just because you guys know that I'm a big Transformer fan, that there is a G1 sideswipe there, so it kind of gives you an idea how large this guy is, and he just is quite impressive on your shelf. So let me go ahead and get all this stuff out of the way. We'll go over the electronics and articulation, and then we'll get some better looks at some of the detail that goes into the figure in whole. I do have one little complaint, but I don't know if you can see it already. Something kind of already snapped on mine, and it came like that out of package, but I will definitely point that out to you. But as far as the sounds go, he has 5 sounds that he makes. First one here. So he's basically powering up there. This one here. Alright, next one. And if you guys remember in the movie, the guy was like, "Well, you know what? I think you better put down your weapon." He puts it down. He's like, "You got 5 seconds." He starts counting down. He's like, "What? What the heck is going on here?" Put down my weapon, and this is basically what happens. All right, so yeah, that guy is definitely a rated R movie. Which, I mean, they had like kids trading cards and stuff like that. I remember buying those, and they had all the graphic detail and the blood and stuff like that. So apparently, my mother didn't know about that when she bought them for me. Then you have this one here. All right, and so that was basically from the end scene whenever Robocop he pulls up to OCP and tells him that he's illegally parked, and they get in their little battle and stuff like that. All right, so as far as some of the articulation goes, let's go ahead and show you off these legs. As you can see, this slides back and forth. Now, one thing I do want to point out is it looks like these two sections right here can maybe bend out. They do not. There's no rod that goes throughout there. It's completely hollow. So if you try to move these back and forth, it's going to break and snap off. So something to be aware of. But you can push these down all the way, and you just want to make sure that these aren't like kind of pushed in or anything like that. There we go. And there is that look. It doesn't look too bad. I still kind of prefer it where it's about halfway, but then I'll show you with them all the way extended out there. And this looks a little bit ridiculous though, in my opinion, but it definitely makes him quite a bit taller. Looks more like a little mecha there. So quite a tall figure, and if you choose to display him that way, here he is with Robocop. Alright, I'm just going to get him back down here. If I can get that there. Or you know what, I'll just go over articulation, and I'll get him back down there whenever we go into the detail. Now the waist section here, it does rotate a little bit. So not a ton. These flaps do go up and down. You have this section here which can go in and out. It also rotates here as well. Bring that out so you can see that. You also have this missile section here to where this folds out, and I'll show that to you a little bit better in detail. This rotates 360 degrees. You have the same on this arm, and the one detail, we'll get into it here in a bit. So just give me a couple of seconds. I'll get everything adjusted for you. Now taking a look at the lower part of the figure, you can see that there's still a lot of nice detail to cover. One thing is these little holes here that aren't really screws to hold the figure together, but it's supposed to resemble bolts for if they were putting this guy together in real life. The other thing worth mentioning is he has quite a few little painted wires throughout here in the toe. There's some red, gold, copper, and silver wiring, so very nice looking there. Unfortunately, the toes don't move at all, so it's just a solid piece right there. But unless you were trying to reenact the stair scene where he's moving his toe around and he falls down, there's really no need for it, and I feel like it would have gave out over time anyway. The other thing worth mentioning, and let me see if I can get all this to focus in. I don't know how well it's showing up, but it's very, very small, and it's very hard to see with just, the naked eye. It says warning, and then there's just kind of like some lines right there. Let me see if I can get it just a little bit better here. But don't know how well that's coming out, but tried there. You can see that there's some nice little paint here, some silver. These are actually like little words right here, but unfortunately their lettering's too thick, so you can't really make it out, but I'm sure it was intended that way anyway. There's some nice little gunmetal look right here. Get this focused again for us. Throughout here you have some nice silver, same thing through here, gunmetal all the way throughout. If you look back here, you have the nice little painted wiring as well, and same thing with some black or kind of black wash or gunmetal back here. And just taking a look all the way around, same thing as on the other side. They're also on the inner legs as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the top section. Now taking a detailed look at the top section of the figure, this is where there's a lot going on as far as paint applications, articulation. This is where the main gimmick is with the electronics. So let's go ahead and start off with the very front grille. You can see that it's kind of a metallic look, and this is where it's kind of like silver and black. Also here on the sides, there's kind of this gold wiring that we saw here at the bottom with the feet. So really nice there. There's the speaker location right here at the bottom part right here that you can actually activate with the button here on the side. Now everything goes in sequence, and it just does one voice every time you press the button once, and then you have to press it again for it to activate the next one. But they're not done randomly, it's all in one kind of sequence. So if you get to one and that's the one that you really like, or you want to fast forward to the next one, you don't have to wait for it to finish. You can just and keep on pressing through it. Now we're back to the very first one that we started off with, and I have to wait for all the other ones. So really cool little gimmick there, and I like that. I don't know if that was intended or just the way that it just kind of happened. Coming around here, you can see that you have some nice kind of streamlined designs here. So everything very accurate to what we saw in the actual movie. This up here, I'm not really sure what material this is. I know it's plastic, but I don't know, it feels really cool. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's very accurate to what we wanted and what we saw in the movie. Coming around here to the side, I just want to point out there's a little warning sticker there. I know it's a little hard to make out, but just very, very small. You can read the word warning, but you can't read the rest of it. We'll get a look at the hands here in a section, or in a minute here. You can see that there's some nice paint detail here. You even flip it around here on the top, some nice little red paint detail, and here with the wiring as well. You can see that none of the paint bleeds onto anything, and everything is within the lines that it's supposed to be. So very nice job there. And it's not like this figure was rushed or anything. Everything feels like this was the only one that they were making, and they were making this one to be the display for Toy Fair, Comic-Con or something like that. And I feel like I got that. So that's how well NECA made this guy as far as whenever they painted and did all the stuff. Now, I do have one complaint, but I will point that out, and it's a simple fix. You also see some black wash here on the vents, which is a nice little touch there. Same thing with the paint here on the side, the warning sticker, and kind of getting into the arms, like I pointed out earlier, that this will move up. And you can see these wires back here, they go back and forth with the figure, so no hindrance there, and rotation doesn't really matter because it's rotating at that joint. This rotates as well. So nicely done there. These little black wires here around the gun, you want to be extremely careful with those things. The reason I say that is because on this one, and this is the way that it came out of box, didn't really notice it because all I did was pull it out of its box and I set it here on the desk, ready to get ready for this Monday's review. And before I started recording, I started looking at it so I can get familiar with the bot, or ED-209 here, so that I could explain everything to you. And I noticed that these little black wires, it's actually like a copper wire and it's painted black. So this is something that it was just undone there. Now, this is something that I can probably fix with a soldering iron or maybe some super glue. So really not that big of a deal, but it is worth mentioning that there are quite a few of them. So you want to be very careful and not handle, this section here. There's no reason to, only handle it whenever you're rotating right here. But a lot of nice little gimmicks. Same thing on this side as well. You have some of that nice gunmetal throughout here and through here. You have the nice little wiring that goes back and forth with that section there. And if you rotate this here, you can see that there's some nice paint detail, and one of the other gimmicks is the missiles will pull out. So very, very cool. And there's some more red wiring there. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that review on NECA's ED-209 from the Robocop series. This guy is just quite impressive on my shelf, and I'm really glad that I got him. It makes me want to track down, some of the other Robocop stuff, and I really hope they come out with, I believe it was Kane from Robocop 2, which was, the other nemesis of, Robocop and his movie. I think that would be a very cool thing for them to make as well. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and have a good day.